Is built-in MDEP support something you'd wait and spec into your next design, or is the promise of Microsoft security enough to start putting it in now?
It has nothing to do with AV. It has everything to do with ultimately the people who are going to be blamed if something goes wrong from the security side or from the network management side. I know that you've been tilting at this particular windmill since it was initially announced. And I don't think that it's worth tilting at the windmill. Microsoft, hasn't been very good at hardware over long periods of time, but they're pretty good software people. Some windmills, Tim, you just let them spin.
I got to have a hobby, Brock. Come on. I mean, both of my kids are out of school now. They're in college. I got to have a hobby somewhere.
What matter wounds to the body of a knight-errant? For each time he falls, he shall rise again, and woe to the wicked. Al?
Here, your grace.
My armor, my sword.
More misadventures.
Adventures, old friend.
Interactive DV LED, MDEP in your displays, and moving higher ed beyond good enough. All that and more next on AV Week. This is AV Week, episode 777, recorded Friday, July 10th, 2026. Tilting at windmills. This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of the biggest news and stories in the AV and the IT world. For the first time in its history, SMPTE is throwing open its entire standards library for free. Microsoft Teams rooms just got a lot faster to install in your biggest spaces, and LED walls you can actually touch are here. Let's get into it. First up, if your team has ever hit a paywall trying to access a broadcast or media standard, that ends now. SMPTE, the Social Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers, is making its entire standards catalog free to everyone. Every published standard, every recommended practice, every engineering guideline, all of it now open access, and all future releases too. SMPTE President Rich Welsh says the industry is at an inflection point, moving to IP-based workflows and wrestling with AI authenticity. And the group decided interoperability matters more than gatekeeping. Why does this matter to you? If your organization builds or buys anything touching SMPTE ST2110, timecode, or file formats, your engineers can now work from the actual spec, not a secondhand summary, not a forum post, nothing like that. Moving on from standards to setup, Shure wants to get your biggest conference rooms online in under an hour. Company just launched Express Install, certified bundles for Microsoft Teams rooms built with furniture partners Heckler and Salamander Designs. Pitch is simple. Pair Shure's IntelliMix Bar Pro with modular, pre-engineered furniture. Skip the custom construction, cut the install time to under 1 hour. For IT and facility teams, this is all about total cost of ownership. Less on-site build-out, less downtime per room, and a consistent experience across every large space you own. Next, a look at where video calls are headed. Kinley has opened the UK's first live commercial-grade demo of HP Dimension with Google Beam. Forget flat 2D video calls. This system uses a camera array, eye tracking, and neural rendering to project the person on the other end in a semblance of physical scale and depth. Now, it is early, it's demo environment, not a mass rollout, but it's a way for you to go experience it if you would. If your organization runs global teams or high-stakes meetings, it might be something you want to take a look at. From video calls to video walls, LED displays just got a bit more interactive. Silicon Core and Bright Logic showed off what they're calling the world's first native touch LED display at Infocom a couple weeks ago. A 2.6 millimeter pixel pitch display with embedded infrared sensing linked to a separate 1.2 millimeter LED floor. Touch one surface, watch the other respond. Response time is 16 milliseconds, and it supports unlimited simultaneous touch points across the canvas up to 32K wide. Anybody planning an experience center, command facility, or an immersive lobby, this is a new category of space. Not just a screen you watch, but a surface you use. And finally, mark your calendars, Midwich is bringing back Tech Expo. And it's the biggest showcase of the year for Midwich to Ascot Racecourse in the UK on October 21st and 22nd. It is the 15th edition. This year's focus, AI and automation, workplace collaboration, security, and immersive live production tech. It's free to attend, and it's one of the few events where end users can walk the floor and see hands-on demo across AV security, and workplace tech in one place without the travel budget of a major trade show. That's your AV news for the week. Stick around. Our roundtable looks at moving beyond good enough and MDEP in displays. That conversation is next. This is AV Week. Welcome back. Now we bring in our fantastic roundtable with us to discuss a couple of more pieces of news. First and foremost, Kelly Teal. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, as always, for having me.
Oh, absolutely. My dear friend, Mr. Brock McGinnis from up north. Welcome, sir.
Hello, Tim. Good to be here.
Good to see you. And a first-timer, so YouTube, please be nice to her, Kara Shannon, from our friends over at Crestron. Welcome, ma'am.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to kick this off with a piece from AV Networks, our friend over at AV Network, SCN, AV Technology, all those folks. They have a piece that's based on some research that Avixa and Logitech did. The piece is about good enough in college classrooms. And typically, according to the article, that has really meant a projector, maybe a screen, maybe a monitor. According to the piece, though, hybrid learning kind of pushed that expectation a little bit higher. Multi-camera coverage, real audio reinforcement, that's kind of the ask there and the bar now. According to the article, which is again based on that research, 1 in 3 faculty and 1 in 4 students have considered leaving a school over bad classroom technology. It's just not about the gear, though. The people SCN talked to for this piece, they keep coming back to the same two things. Number one, standardization across rooms so support teams can actually scale, and a touch panel that doesn't make faculty want to throw it out the window. I have a really quick story, and then I'll get to Brock. 100 years ago, when I was a really horrible programmer in this industry, I had the opportunity / responsibility of replacing a quick media touch panel. I think probably Brock may be the only one who remembers this. It was a 17-inch quick media touch panel. It was video to the touch panel. I think the sucker listed for like $20,000, and we had to replace it because the professor stuck his fist through it, because how dare it tell him he had to wait 90 seconds for the projector to cool down. Yeah. All right. Mr. McInnes, simple, is the same basic question that the article kind of goes to. How do we get higher ed? How do we get education beyond the good enough mentality?
I am of the opinion that we never will, Tim. The general requirements in a teaching environment are pretty straightforward. Can the students hear? Can they see the content that is on the screen? Read it easily from any seat in the house? And can any instructor in the facility walk in and turn those two elements on? And I think that I think that many educational institutions are under significant budget pressure. They've had to divert a lot of money into the cybersecurity world. They've had to divert a lot of money into the physical security world. And as a parent of someone who's about to enter college in first year, tuition can't go up, right? There are natural budget constraints, both on privately funded schools and on publicly funded schools. So those of us in the technology world would always love to be able to produce broadcast quality, distance learning, broadcast quality recordings, and have a classroom look, sound, and feel like a concert hall. But I think that the real heroes in educational technology are the ones who can deliver consistency, can deliver, universal audio coverage and good video at a budget. And that, to me, that's kind of it. And it doesn't have to be great. It just has to be clear and easy and repeatable.
Really quickly, Brock, because I want to hit on something you just said, that repeatable part, is that wholly on the integrator and the integration partner? Is that also on the IT and the AV teams? Is that on the manufacturer, or is everybody involved in that repeatable part?
Well, I think that's on the AV team. I think it's on having standards, and the standards aren't that it's an Extron amp or a Crestron amp or a this touch panel. This system shall do this. Press a button, microphone goes on, laptop connects to the display or the projector, and everything else is requires no adjustment. Change input, change location, but I think that's incumbent on the institution. I think that there's compared to 15 years ago, there is a ton of design and execution expertise, within the educational infrastructure now. Integrators are there often just to supply and to execute. Maybe they're there to supplement it to service. But no, and it's not about a brand standard. It's about a performance standard and repeatability. And the brand standard only comes in as it relates to quick service, because classrooms can't be down long. So if all of your classrooms have a DM switcher, then you can swap one in for the other. Yeah. Of course, you can't buy a new one now, but that's okay.
It's a different conversation. I'll let you talk to Kara about that after we stop recording. Kelly, put on your consultant hat for a second and talk like you're dealing with one of your clients here, one of your end user, your higher ed clients. How do you measure whether an AV investment is actually going to get adopted versus just sitting there unused? Like to Brock's point, that standard, how do you make sure that standard is actually going to get used?
Well, something I was actually thinking before Brock said it pretty much. There's no promise that the standard will get used, right? Everybody interprets everything differently, no matter how many times you train somebody on something. It's never going to be 100%. This is how everyone's using it, and it's accurate the first time. I actually think personally that we've created the phrase good enough because budgets are tight, not because users are satisfied. Nobody walks out of a meeting saying, oh man, that mediocre audio experience was fantastic. They just tolerate it. And to me, moving beyond good enough isn't always about buying the most expensive equipment. It's about designing a room where nobody has to think about the technology. And that's, I think, the closest you're going to get to 100% perfection in terms of making sure this standard is adopted and used consistently. If someone has to spend 5 minutes figuring out how to share their screen, or remote participants can't hear people in the room, the technology has already failed. And what's interesting is that users' expectations have actually changed because of COVID. It always comes back to that.
It does.
Hybrid meetings aren't some special event anymore like they used to be, and they're everyday business. Everyone uses it. Even in the office, we use it for ourselves. I think people expect remote participants to feel like they're actually in the room, not like they're listening through a drive-through speaker. So, I mean, it really comes down to the design and the technology and just kind of, setting those expectations as well up front. You always have to have expectations set when you're talking to a client, and they need to fully understand what they're getting and how it works.
Kara, I'm going to have you bring all of this together. How, as a manufacturer, do you get, in this case, higher education to start adopting and leveraging standards and systems that you guys would put out there into their already budget-friendly or budget-conscious systems, while at the same time maintaining a good system and a good standard?
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback on what Kelly said. I think it's really about understanding the experience that particular school or organization is looking for in that room. The right solution is always going to start with understanding who's in the room, who's remote, how those people interact together, and what outcomes that they're trying to achieve. Sometimes it comes down to a simple technology solution, a single camera or something like that, may be absolutely the correct solution for a space where, the presenter is primarily, delivering a lecture. If you've got a hybrid interactive class where the students who are remote, need to be able to see the other people who are asking questions and contributing to the conversation, then in that case, you're going to need technology that can support that. I think a lot of customers and, people don't know, what's possible until they see it. So I think it starts to be, from a manufacturer and AV industry, helping people understand, what's possible by having the people using the spaces be able to walk us through how they utilize the space. I think that is, what's key is making sure that, the technology disappears and it becomes about your workflow and how you utilize the space.
All right. I like that. From our friends over AV Magazine, Microsoft's MDEP, the device ecosystem platform, is starting to turn displays themselves into managed IT endpoints. Now, on the show floor, this is from an Infocom piece. Avocor showed how an IADEA ops module can turn one of their screens into something your IT team can secure and manage the same way they manage a laptop. Avocor's Dana Corey says that's just the first step. Eventually, that MDEP capability gets built right into the display. No separate module needed. Microsoft's not just stopping at meeting rooms. They're rolling MDEP out as a standalone digital signage OS later this year with its own license. That means the same security and manageability. I'll discuss the security, Tim's 2 cents on the security in a second. That could cover your conference rooms, your lobby signage, and eventually your IoT devices all under one umbrella. Kelly, I said I'm going to give you guys my 2 cents on MDEP at the end of this. I'm going to try really hard not to give you it before. Quite frankly, how do we feel about MDEP being in our displays now? Honestly,
it feels like the industry's been heading there for a while, right? AV and IT are not separate worlds anymore. The more devices you deploy, the more IT wants them managed, the same way as laptops or phones. I don't think the exciting part is that it's another operating system. I guess if you wanted to find a silver lining in this, it could just simplify management. If IT can update, secure, and monitor displays using tools that they already know, that's a pretty compelling argument. Now, whether customers actually care that it's MDEP, probably not. Most customers care that the display turns on every morning, stays secure, and doesn't require someone driving across town to reboot it. The only thing I'd be watching is whether this becomes another platform everyone has to support or whether it actually reduces complexity. If it simplifies deployments, great. If it creates another ecosystem where everyone has to learn, then that's a completely different conversation.
That's a fair point. Kara, same kind of question is because Crestron does have MDEP devices, but you also have non-MDEP devices. So where do you guys land on either putting everything under one giant umbrella, in this case MDEP, or from a manufacturer standpoint, making sure that you guys support as many systems and platforms as possible?
I think overall, the idea is to ensure that the teams that are deploying, managing, and supporting spaces are able to do that easily and with a platform that they're used to and familiar with. So, our goal is to help, create and match that outcome.
Mr. McGinnis, is built-in MDEP support something you'd wait and spec into your next client's design, or is it the promise of Microsoft security enough to start putting it in now?
No.
I asked two questions there, Brock.
Yes, and the answer is the same.
Okay.
Let's say no.
Okay.
But we are not the dog that wags the tail. IT is the dog that wags the tail. And if IT in an enterprise or an institution wants to have as much MDEP visibility and control, single pane of glass into everything that has an RJ45 connector on it, everything we sell is going to end up having an MDEP module in it. And it's just, Microsoft has brilliantly found a way around Android. and it has nothing to do with AV.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with ultimately the people who are going to be blamed if something goes wrong from the security side or from the network management side. So I know that you've been tilting at this particular windmill since it was initially announced, and I don't think that it's worth tilting at the windmill. Microsoft, hasn't been very good at hardware over long periods of time, but they're pretty good software people, and this is kind of a software thing. So
this is where Tim's opinion comes in, and y'all can yell at me and tell me I'm wrong. Okay, either the three of you or your anybody online. I will take issue with that last statement, Mr. McGinnis, because I am old enough to remember Patch Tuesday, which happened every Tuesday for every Microsoft platform under the sun since 1988. I will bring you Microsoft Home. I will bring you Microsoft Vista. I will bring you, a litany of software issues that had day two security holes that you could drive a Mac truck through. I'm beyond the antitrust parts of Microsoft, and it is what it is, and I'm not the government. I'm not going to sue Microsoft, right? I have an issue with anybody sitting here saying that Microsoft is this great panacea to security in an era where our systems are getting more and more scrutiny, the AV systems specifically. And we're sitting here going, well, Microsoft is going to save us with this. I got 30 years that says no. I mean, it might be it's better than nothing, right? And if that's the answer, then that's the answer. And I kind of have to be okay with that answer. But I can't sit here and go, yeah, Microsoft is 100% known for security. They always have been. That's not entirely accurate.
Well, I'm communicating with you over a Mac, which is something that I have done consistently since a couple of people on this call were born.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of how their products work, but I am a business person, and if in the end, I serve a client's need.
Yes.
If they and if I can sell them an Avocor display instead of a Samsung box and put that in and make them happier, if they think that will make them happier, will I base a proposal around it? Probably not. But I may sit as part of a needs analysis process, and Kelly, you may do the same thing in what you do, and say, so tell me about your MDEP rollout or how you're addressing that now, and is that important when we're looking at the AV system? Should we be prioritizing, the MDEP connectivity and access and in what we're doing? You look at the number of AV manufacturers that have jumped on that train,
It's staggering.
It's costing them money. It's costing us money.
Yes.
When I said Microsoft was very good at software, they're very good at making money from software. And so, we all pay Dante for everything now, and we're all going to pay Microsoft for MDEP now. Having, Android was the non-licensed kind of approach to a lot of the compute. Well, Microsoft has found a way around that, and we're buying into it. Some windmills, Tim, you just let them spin.
I got to have a hobby, Brock. Come on. I mean, both of my kids are out of school now. They're in college. I got to have a hobby somewhere.
You do have a hobby. It's jujitsu.
I do.
And writing.
And writing. That's accurate too. Yeah. So, all right. Kelly, I do want to pick on you one last time before we get, Brock brings up a good point. Are you having, is MDEP being brought up in your needs analysis with your clients?
It is, not as much as you'd think. But yeah, it is. And we do discuss those things, and we do talk about, the implications of it, the good and the bad. But like Brock said, regardless of my own personal opinions, we do put the client's needs first, and we do, if it's something they, do want to explore or consider, we will always talk to them about that first.
All righty. That'll work. And I'll find a different windmill, Brock. Thank you all so much. Mr. Brock McGinnis, how do people connect with you, sir?
I'm at nationwideav.com. Email address is brock@nationwideav, and you can also find me associated with the Professional Audiovisual Society of Canada, PAVC, which has just wrapped up an amazing first year across this country, and is now rolling out. We got 60 or 80 people who volunteered to sit on various committees and start delivering, some of our mission related to industry advocacy, promoting AV as a career, providing education that is employer independent, so that people's AV knowledge is not limited by whether they're a gig worker or, if their employer happens to be one DSP company and they figure they should get certifications from the other or others. So yeah, PAVC has been a great thing for us.
It's a really good organization. So you should absolutely.
Restaurant, by the way, is a supporter. Thank you very much. One of our key partners in the country.
Yeah, it's a really good group. You should check it out. Even if you're not in Canada, you should definitely check it out. So, Ms. Kelly Teal, thank you, ma'am. How do people connect with you?
I am just on LinkedIn right now.
All right, very good. Ms. Kara Shannon, thank you, ma'am. Thanks for joining us. How do people connect with you or Crestron?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, and then obviously visit Crestron.com to learn more about all of our different products.
All right, very good. My name is Tim Albright. Do not follow me anywhere, but go by the website, AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv. You will find this program and a host of others. Still putting up content for Infocom 2026. You can find that at AVNation.tv/IC26. Also a brand new Win AV, where Erica Carroll interviews Chrissy Sarah from Sony. So all that and more at AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. That is all the time we have for AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AV Nation.
This is AV Nation.